What makes you not want to have kids? I can barely take care of myself, sometimes it feels like. Can't possibly take on another human. More selfishly, there's still a lot of things I want to do that I couldn't if I had a kid. Lastly, just a pessimistic view of the world and the desire to not want to bring new life into that. I couldn't have written it better. Every time I just have black coffee for breakfast, I wonder how in heaven's sake am I supposed to take care of a kid from childbirth up to his/her/their 20s. It's irreversible. You can't unhave kids when you've committed to it. So when you have all those doubts and fears you might not be a good parent, it's hard to take the plunge. Plus I'd have to find someone to have a kid with and make more money for it to be viable, but I think they're secondary to actually wanting to go through with it. The fact that nothing really makes me want to have them. I feel like you should have an overwhelming desire to become a parent. I don't. So why would I have a kid? As a child of a parent who didn't actively want them, thank you for thinking about what this does to a kid. I've been dealing with a mentally disabled older brother for nearly all my life. He's 32 years old, but acts like a 7 years old nearly all the time. I love him to death, but after so long of dealing with him growing up, I'm 22. I just do not have the patience to handle something like that again. Edit. Wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for the kind and understanding comments, everyone. To everyone else struggling with something similar, know that you're not alone. It may feel exhausting at days, and sometimes you might wish you weren't even in such a position. But cherish those moments you share with them where they're the happiest you've ever seen them. Because at the end of the day, you're all they have left. I fear for my brother's future every day, and hope that he grows up well without the need for us to care for him 24/7. My neighbor has 7 of them. The only form of communication in that house is screaming. The teenage boy just screamed in the middle of my typing this. Kid is absolute shite at whatever game he's trying to play. My work meetings are constantly interrupted by his whiny cursing/crying sessions. Well, the total lack of wishing to have a child. Zero desire. Just like I have no desire to have a pet rhino or become a lawyer. I've been clinically depressed for almost a decade. Postpartum depression is one of the things that terrifies me about the prospect of having kids. Also, I'm in no way mentally stable enough to be a parent. Watching my sister's kid get kicked out of daycare for slamming a kid's face into a table and hitting a teacher. He's 3 and the most difficult kid I've met. Edit. Lol. I've got replies saying he's being abused and replies saying he's being gentle parented. It's a catch-22. No matter what, you're either too rough or too gentle. He lives at my house with his mom and sister. I usually WFH. No one beats him, and he is regularly punished. Now someone's gonna say he's punished too much. He just gives no fucks. Not trusting myself enough that I'd be motivated enough to take care about them constantly and treat them the way they deserve. Edit. I guess this could be interpreted as a fear of commitment or running away from responsibility. But for now I'm committed to my freedom. I seek spaciousness. Not everyone is built to be a parent. Being self-aware enough to acknowledge that may not be you is actually pretty responsible. Emo. My mental health and financial situation. I wouldn't want to raise a kid the same way I was raised. I feel exactly the same way. Things are getting better for me and my spouse. But having a baby and needing to take off months of work, we don't have family local to us, and daycare is far too expensive, would set us back horribly. Maybe when we're ready we'll look at fostering older kids instead. There are plenty who need loving families if we get to a spot where we can be one. Edit. Loving families. Not living. Got accidentally morbid for a second. All of it. The money, the time, the mental toll, the world we live in, the overpopulation, the lack of interest in kids, the lack of a partner, the presumable lack of parental skills, my own autism, the autism that my kids would probably inherit. I do not want to deal with pregnancy. I do not want my perineum cut open. I don't want to piss my pants for the rest of my life. I do not have the patience to be a good mother. I do not have the skills. I was horrifically abused as a child and then dumped in the foster care system. I never ever had a sane and stable guardian, so what skills could I bring? Of course, as most people's answer is that you figure it out, but I'm a twice-degreed social worker with extensive experience working with people who should not have been parents, and I can tell you that sometimes you do not figure it the fuck out. Money. I just got to the point where I'm positive I can have enough money to pay my bills and eat, and I'm about to turn 40 years old. If I had a child before this time, I would have been extremely stressed due to poverty and just ended up working 2 jobs and never seeing the kid. The father. Takes 2 to make a baby, and I've never met a man I want to deal with for the rest of my life. I love to travel solo. I love to explore this world. Well, in the before times, anyway. I would not have the time, money, or ability to travel the way I want. Selfishness. I like the freedom of being able to wake up or go wherever I want without worrying who's gonna watch my kids or my kids are awake, so I have to be awake. So I guess I value my personal freedom more than anything a child could provide me. From my own experience, I don't like the thought of bringing a kid into the world we live in. I'd much sooner adopt a kid who's in a shifty place or in a struggling area. There are millions of kids starving out there. There are millions of kids being abused out there. Rather save one of them than bring another kid into this wretched place. Gestures broadly. Like everything. All the reasons. Just close your eyes and point at something. I work for Disney, and what I can say is %50 of parents look miserable. You're on vacation with your family, and everyone's miserable the whole time. That worries me. If your kid can't stop crying in public on vacation, how does that kid react at home? Like, I have a kid and sometimes I'm like, geez, sorry, kid. Like, she's being raised by loving parents in a middle class home in a relatively peaceful country and we want her, so that's all good, but shit's still burning down every summer and women are under attack and WW3 is brewing and the economy seems chaotically prone to collapsing every little while. So, like, I'm not sure it was cool to do that to her. Like, I'm glad she's here, but yikes. If literally anyone is, like, I don't want to have kids, there's not an ounce of me that thinks so. You'll change your mind. Teehee or other shit like that. Don't want them? Can't afford them? Don't have them. I recognize the irony here, but they're selfish and ungrateful. Kids rarely show gratitude for anything you do for them. They don't like to share. They're wildly disrespectful. And I don't have the tool set to correct those things before they become free actors in society. Kids can ruin the mood in an entire room or establishment. They can destroy the most valuable things you own without real consequence. They can hurt people both physically and emotionally. And they build a prison around you financially. Doesn't that sound terrible? I think a better question is, what makes you want to have kids? I usually get some bullshit touchy-feely answer about either tradition, someone to take care of them when they get old, or not wanting to wonder if they had. Edit. To everyone commenting, the question was, why would you not want to have kids? I don't care why you want to. I simply answered the question. The end. Thanks for watching.